The arrogant lesson. The hall was vast, carved from crystal, its vaulted ceiling etched with star maps older than empires. Hundreds of alien students sat in perfect order, their eyes shimmering with the faint glow of neural augments. At the center stood Professor Korvac, his frilled crest twitching with scholarly pride. "Extinct," he declared, his voice echoing. "That is the only word appropriate for the species known as humans. Once parasites upon a blue-green world, they dared resist the hegemony. Their colonies were burned, their fleets shattered, their envoys executed. A swift and necessary extermination." The students hissed in amusement, mandibles clacking, scales rustling. Hollow images bloomed above them. Burning colonies, orbital bombardments raining molten fire, ships cracking apart like toys. Korvac leaned forward. Humanity believed itself resilient, yet when tested they broke. They were silenced, erased, and forgotten. Remember, young scholars, resistance against the hegemony always ends the same way. Laughter rolled through the chamber. Mockery became applause. The professor smiled. His arrogance was complete. But in the last row, half hidden beneath the shadows of a crystalline pillar, a figure sat very still. Flesh, not scale. Eyes, not compound lenses. Breathing slow, controlled. A human, alive, listening, waiting. The celebration of extinction. The lecture did not end. It grew crueler. "They called their world Earth," Korvac sneered. "A name meaningless now. The ashes of their cities feed weeds. The monuments of their past crumble. Even their songs are dust and void." He projected an ancient recording, the final transmission of a human envoy, begging for peace as alien warships closed in. The envoy's words were cut short by plasma fire. The students roared in laughter. "Observe their weakness," the professor continued. "Observe how swiftly the galaxy forgets those who thought themselves unique. Humanity is a lesson, nothing more. A warning etched in absence." The disguised human in the shadows did not flinch. His heart pounded, but his face was stone. He had trained for this moment, for patience. They thought humanity extinct. They had no idea. The whisper in the silence beyond the academy, in the cold dark between stars, silence was breaking. On forgotten frequencies, comms flickered to life. Ghost channels whispered. Buried codes, dormant for centuries, awakened. Across hidden vaults scattered through asteroid fields, ancient engines began to stir. In the Oort fog of Sol, where comets sleep, black steel shapes unfolded. Long dormant dreadnoughts, silent for generations, bled power into awakening reactors. The human in the lecture hall closed his eyes briefly. He could feel it, as though through blood itself. The old call answered, the vengeance rising. Humanity had never been gone. They had been waiting, buried beneath patience, sharpening silence into a weapon. The reckoning begins. On the fringes of hegemony space, the first fleets appeared. Not small raiders, not scattered refugees, fleets. Armadas vast enough to blot suns, their hulls black as judgment, their banners etched with a single word. Earth. Stations fell before warnings could be sent. Communications were jammed, then silenced forever. Planets that had laughed at human ruin now watched the skies split open with dreadnought fire. Whispers ran through the galaxy like wildfire. Humans? Impossible. They were extinct. They were myths, but myths do not vaporize battle fleets in a single salvo. Myths do not return with machines larger than moons. Myths do not broadcast one chilling phrase into every star system at once. We remember. The shattering of arrogance. Professor Korvac stood frozen as the news feeds reached even his hallowed hall. His students, once laughing, now stared in silence as holofeeds flickered above them. Worlds burning, fleets broken, the hegemony retreating. A message cut across the academic channels, overriding even restricted archives. A human voice, cold as iron. "Your lecture is incomplete, Professor. Humanity is not extinct. We are here." Every eye turned to the last row. The figure in shadow rose. No more disguise, no more silence. The human's eyes glowed with the faint burn of neural augments. He stood tall, scarred, unbroken. The professor stammered, "Impossible. You cannot be—" The human stepped forward, voice carrying through the crystal hall like a storm. "You bombed our colonies. You executed our envoys. You mocked our dead. And you believed patience meant weakness. You were wrong. Patience was sharpening the blade. Gasps filled the chamber. Some students shrank. Others hissed in denial. The professor trembled. The human leaned close. The galaxy forgot us, but we never forgot you. The storm of retribution across star systems. Vengeance unfolded. Human dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace like black suns, their arrival tearing gravity itself. They did not fight wars, they ended them. Each salvo was annihilation. Cities turned to glass. Fortresses folded like sand. Armies landed on worlds in storms of fire. Soldiers descending in exosuits heavier than tanks, their weapons humming with lethal silence. They moved like executioners, unstoppable, absolute. The galaxy watched helpless as entire sectors fell in days. Whole armadas surrendered without firing a shot, their commanders whispering only one plea: do not let the humans notice us. The vengeance was not loud. It was not rage. It was cold, surgical. A silence heavier than screams, and when the humans spoke, it was with one voice. This is not war. This is remembrance. The collapse of the hegemony. The hegemony had believed itself eternal. But under humanity's return, it shattered like brittle glass. Its fleets, once countless, were torn apart, their admirals hunted. Its great councils, once arrogant, fell silent as human warships appeared above their capitals. Even when the galaxy begged for mercy, the humans gave none. Mercy was for equals. The hegemony had shown none when Earth pleaded. Now Earth answered in kind. Professor Korvac watched as his city's sky split with fire, human dreadnoughts blotting out stars. He fell to his knees, claws shaking, realization crushing him. His students screamed as the world shook. The human stood at the center of the lecture hall, unmoving, eyes cold. You wanted history, Professor, he whispered. Now you will live it. The aftermath of silence, and then silence. The fleets withdrew, leaving worlds smoldering and hushed. Not occupation, not rule. Only ruin and memory, survivors whispered in the dark. Words passed from mouth to trembling mouth. Never provoke Earth again. They waited centuries. Their patience is infinite, their vengeance eternal. In academies, in palaces, in markets, the galaxy spoke of humans not as myths, but as inevitable judgment. They were not gone. They were watching. Always. Professor Korvac's final memory was not of triumph or laughter. It was of a human's gaze, cold, eternal, and merciless. And every star seemed to whisper the same truth. Extinct? No, endless.